Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, YouTube, is that a foreign language to you? Well, there are a lot of changes going on in the world of communications and how people are using these changes in their business and personal lives. Joining me to discuss the topic is a New Talk business contributor, Emily Reeves. She's with the communications firm Stone Ward. She is their Director of Account Management and Research and has a very active blog on social media issues called MsAdverthinker.com. Emily, good to have you with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
A little background first so that people are familiar with your expertise. It's kind of incumbent for you in your job to stay on top of the changing world of communications, particularly social media. It happens to also be a passion of yours. So kind of tell our viewers and listeners why you think this area is so interesting and important.
Okay. Well, location-based services are applications that usually are on a mobile phone and allow people to update their status and much like they do for Twitter and Facebook, but just attach a very specific location to that. And I think that's becoming very important in social media as people are starting to get too absorbed in their phones a little bit, and now they're wanting a little more social face-to-face interaction. Things like location-based services allow them to find their friends a lot easier and meet up face-to-face when they might not have known someone was in the same vicinity or location.
Well, our audience is pretty sophisticated as far as audiences go. I'm sure they're very familiar with Facebook. They probably know about Twitter, have played on YouTube. They may not know about some of these location-based applications that you're talking about, like Foursquare, for instance. Maybe use that as an example. Tell me kind of what Foursquare is, how it works, why someone would want to use it.
Okay. Foursquare is an application that you download to your mobile phone, whether it's an iPhone or a BlackBerry or a Google Android, and it opens up just like Twitter or Facebook, but it has a geolocation feature to it that finds exactly where you are at that point in time. And sometimes that is, a dot on the map or a coordinate. Sometimes, and this is the most relevant, is when it's a business, like it's a restaurant or a corporate office, a bank, any place that you would normally do business, and you can check in at that location. So you basically announce to your followers where you are, when, and you can attach some tips and information about that location to your check-in for future people to find and use when they come to that particular location. And there are many services like this. There's Foursquare, which is the most popular. Right now it's around 1 million users, but there's also Gowalla and Looped that's been out there for a while, and Google has its Latitude program. So there's several different options. Foursquare just happens to be the most popular right now.
Let's hold off talking about kind of the business reasons for doing some of this. Let's talk about the personal or the social reasons for doing some of this. Why would someone want to announce to their friends and followers kind of where they are? Is this to meet up? Is it to just have them keep up with what's going on in their day? Or what's the reason?
Sure. Initially people wanted this service to find their friends a little bit easier. If you check in at a particular location using Foursquare, you can see who else is checked in at that moment in time at that same location. Or when you check in, you can see who has checked in previously. So you can look and see what friends have been there before and what they actually thought about that location. Or when you check in, you can see what other people have left as kind of their trail. What are their tips and information associated with that particular location that you might be able to take advantage of while you're there. So there's several different ways to use that. And then, if they're getting rewarded for doing that, there's also this game aspect. You can earn points for check-ins at multiple locations or at the same location multiple times, or you can pick up kind of gifts, little graphic, they mean nothing, but you get this accumulation when you check in multiple times. So it becomes this game, see who can get the most points and earn the most gifts.
Give me a little bit more insight on that for fun. I mean, how do I become the mayor of a restaurant, or how do I earn a barista badge at Starbucks, for example?
Well, to become a mayor of a particular location, you have to be the person that has checked in the most number of times at that particular location. So you're crowned the mayor, basically. And so that's a lot of fun, and it becomes a game. If you've got multiple people that check in at the same location a lot, you can steal the mayorship back and forth from each other. And then for Starbucks, who has actually partnered with Foursquare to create their own custom badge, something you can earn just for checking in there. If you go to Starbucks multiple times, and they haven't really announced how many times it takes to earn the barista badge, so they're encouraging you to come back and try it again and again until you can get that badge in your lineup.
So there's the fun and games aspect of it, the knowing what your friends are doing aspect of it, and then I guess from the business side of point of view, you've got, obviously, you can drive consumer traffic to your retail locations. I would presume, too, that you can also benefit or be hurt by what people say about you through all of this social media and this location-based application.
Oh, absolutely. If you give people a reason to check in at your location, you are definitely driving traffic. If they get a reward for multiple locations or they get some sort of discount for being a mayor, you are encouraging them to come back over and over again. And if they're coming back over and over again, their loyalty is obviously going to increase, and they're going to like you a little bit more if you're giving them something for it. So it is very much a great business tool. I'm surprised that more businesses haven't checked in and really leveraged the tool.
Well, tell me what it will take for some of these businesses to embrace this type of technology. Is it just happening more in major markets? Maybe we haven't seen it as much here in Little Rock, or are there things that businesses should be taking into account in terms of capitalizing on these younger audiences who are interested in this type of enterprise?
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Little Rock specifically, and I use Foursquare, and I have yet to go to a location that wasn't already in existence on Foursquare. So I think the use in Little Rock may be a little more than we realize, and businesses just don't realize it yet. But definitely consumers are out there, and they're creating these locations on the site. I think as we see it grow and as businesses see the potential for driving traffic to their locations and ultimately driving revenue, they will start to catch on. It's very much that circle of life. As consumers start using it more, businesses will start using it more, which will drive consumers to use it more in that ongoing cycle. So I think it's just we're a little bit slower to pick it up from a business standpoint, from a lack of understanding, but consumers in Little Rock are definitely out there using it.
I would presume there are some downsides to this as well, particularly if you're not a business that is engaged in good customer service. Are there some horror stories out there about folks being burned by using this type of application?
Sure. If you're not providing good customer service, then people are going to announce it, and they're going to post on their Foursquare check-in that, yes, they've been here, and leave immediately if that's the case. And so it becomes this kind of check for businesses, much like the internet has been and services like Yelp and any kind of online review sites. This just puts it in the palm of the customer to see immediately when they walk in that particular location. It pops up.
You were at the South by Southwest conference. The big high-tech conference takes place every year in Austin, Texas. We appreciate you providing some reports for us on that. Location-based applications was really kind of touted as the next big thing that's coming. Tell me how big you think this is going to be.
Well, I don't have any way of predicting that. It just depends on what consumers want to do. But I will say that Twitter first became big at South by Southwest in 2007, and it was, in 2008, about a year later, that everyone from a general standpoint really started catching on and using that. Now, Foursquare was introduced at South by Southwest actually last year, and it's seen most of its growth a year later now. I think that as businesses and consumers see the benefit of these check-ins, it will continue to grow. I don't know how to predict whether or not it will really take off as big as something like Twitter, but I think it has definite benefits, and people are starting to see those.
All right. She is not necessarily the mayor of Stone Ward, but she is the director of account management and research at Stone Ward Communications, Emily Reeves. You can follow her online at her blog at MsAdverthinker.com or on Twitter at Reeves501. Emily, thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thank you.
We're back with more right after this.